This book is in rough shape, but there's a good reason for that. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Super Sam 7, and today is another comic collection review, and this is on Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 4, Legacy, The Return of Ultimate Green Goblin. As you can see, yeah, this is another even number, which means the sides are blue. Here's the back. Actually, I really like this. Peter Parker has a secret. He's different from other kids his age. Well, not that different. $15. Collects Ultimate Spider-Man 22 to 27. Of course, Mark Bagley and Brian Michael Bendis. There we go. And there's the spine. I don't know why that. So the story is my local library had the Ultimate Spider-Man volumes, almost all of them, except volume 7, 12. No, it had 12. Volume 7, 14, and 18. And of course, also Volume 4 for some reason. And they had all the other ones. So I went to my Barnes & Noble back in the day where you would actually go shopping in store. And I bought this. And I remember it was right before I was about to, like literally minutes before I was about to see a movie in theaters with my family during summer. So yeah, I read this while waiting, or part of it while waiting. It was remember the experience my whole life. And of course, that's why I got it. And still have it here. And yes, let's open it up and see what it is. Because a lot of people, and I agree, thinking about it, I really don't enjoy Ultimate Green Goblin. I don't like that I turn him into just a giant green monster. He doesn't even have a glider. And the purple cloak, come on, that's probably just to 616 accurate, reference. But it's called Legacy. And it starts off with Spider-Man fighting these goons who have tasers. They're very lame, but Spider-Man's basically a big-time hero now ever since he stopped Kraven the Hunter and Dr. Octopus. But Peter Parker is severely grounded because of Aunt May. But then Harry comes and kind of shakes everything up because Harry's back. That means Norman Osborn's alive, and he's the Goblin. Peter is confident that no matter what anyone says, Norman Osborn was the giant green goblin who attacked the school. Also, they never call him Green Goblin in the Ultimate Universe. They just call him the Goblin. I think the closest was in Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 9, where someone calls him the something like the Green Monster, or something like that. I think they call him something Green Goblin, but that's the closest it ever got. They just call him Goblin or D-Goblin, you get it. So now Peter goes back and he's invited to Norman Osborn's place. And of course he complies to find out what's going on. And really I feel bad for Harry in this story because he's not exactly that, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like the same with 616, Harry Osborn, who's neglected by his father. I think the best interpretation of this was in the 90s cartoon. Maybe also the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. But I guess this is just, definitely Spider-Man modernized. That's why it's made. So Green Goblin reveals it's over. Peter Parker is done being Spider-Man, or he will kill everyone he knows and beat him to death. Twice, if you want to count what he says. And he does this and thinks he can just say this because the Goblin, or Oscorp Spider, bit Peter and turned him into Spider-Man, or gave him spider powers. So he basically figures he owns Peter, and Peter's his son. A son he wanted. And after that, basically Nick Fury contacts him and is like, Norman is gonna ask you to kill me. And he explains why, and it's just because government stuff, disliking Norman Osborn and keeping tracks on him. And the thing that's always, really was weird to me as a kid, but now I understand as an adult of why they can't just attack Norman Osborn because of all legalities and whatnot, even though they know this stuff, but they're not supposed to know. They have this information kind of illegally, I guess you could think of it like that. And this is the best, probably or not the best, but the biggest thing in this story is the reference to Amazing Spider-Man 121, The Death of Gwen Stacy, but with Mary Jane as Green Goblin. Goes crazier by injecting himself with more of this Oz serum, which transforms him into the Goblin. And also makes him hallucinate like crazy, so to say, or have delusions like crazy, that's what I meant to say. And he grabs Mary Jane, throws her off, but Spider-Man saves her. Yes, he saves her. I can only imagine how crazy it is having this be the last panel for this issue and then not knowing what happens next. So, S.H.I.E.L.D. attacks Goblin, Spider-Man attacks Goblin and heads off back to Oscorp Tower, or wherever Norman's living. I think it's Oscorp Tower, right? They fight. Harry sees, basically it comes in tune later, and they hint at it earlier in the story. But basically, if you say cellar door to Harry, he faints. That was just a psychosis thing they put into him. Or Norman had I think it's Miles Warren is his, what am I trying to say? His doctor. Yeah, Dr. Warren. Okay. I also like the shark Osborn has just in his office. So it comes up so much full of juice that it kind of makes him go crazy. And Nick Fury speculates if he had one less serum injected into him, he would have died. Everyone would have lost. But Harry actually stabs his father, in the back as the Goblin. He freaks out and faints. That's the defeat of it. And I was really surprised reading this again for this video, that this whole story takes place in basically just 2 days. Barely 2 days. And at the end it's revealed Norman Osborn doesn't own you, but Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. does, because you're an illegal experiment, basically. Something about, what is it? Illegal, unnatural genetic mutation. And after hearing that, he kind of just leaves, freaks out, so to say. And it ends with them just being together, him and Mary Jane. And there's concept art in this book. I don't know if this is in the omnibus or the ultimate hardcover, but here's some concept art. Kind of looks a little bit more like the video game Goblin, I would say, instead of the book here. There is some great quotes in this story. There's some stuff with Gwen Stacy, how she just arrives at Peter Parker's house at 3 a.m. in the morning. And then we learn, yes, her father in this universe is still Captain George Stacy of the police department. Although we knew that last volume, actually. Never mind. And this is the first time Nick Fury, as synonymous as it seems like Nick Fury is with Ultimate Spider-Man, especially because of the cartoon show, this is the first time they actually meet face to face. And before this, Ultimate Nick Fury first appeared in Ultimate Marvel Team-Up issue 6, I think. And then he was in Ultimate X-Men Volume 2. And then he arrives here. I think that's how it went for him. I like this this moment a lot, where he says, "Optimism is a revolutionary act," and Peter responds, "Who told you that? The guy who poked out your eye?" And Nick Fury gets kind of close to him and says, "Yes." But definitely better of a thing than the MCU did. Although this wasn't, misled and teased something else. Again, the artwork is spectacular. I actually think Spider-Man is a little bit too skinny. It kind of makes him look weird in some poses. I don't know. This one always looks weird to me. Conversations are good. Again, I feel bad for Harry. Mary Jane's here. They definitely do a lot better with their character. And I'm glad that they decided in the Ultimate Universe to make Mary Jane Peter Parker's girlfriend in this just from the start. Of course, things change around volume 16, I think. But anyway, I like the interaction Spider-Man just has with random people, like this taxi driver's like, "Okay, I'll do this for you for free," just out of nowhere because you asked. Yeah, Spider-Man flips out on the Goblin here and almost, beats him up. I mean, they're definitely more evenly matched than you would think. I mean, look at this. He also calls Goblin Slappy. And there's some smart things here, I'm pretty sure he just put a shark in Osborn's office to have something with water break and, wake up Harry for this moment, for him to make sense waking up at the end. I like how Spider-Man is about to, fail at saving people down below from a giant slab of a metal, and Harry basically saves him and those people by stabbing his father, which is definitely a hard thing for him to do. I mean, look at that, he had tears in his eyes, and then this happens. Gosh, I always remember this last issue. Anyway, with that said, definitely worthwhile purchase for me as a kid. Really good story for Ultimate Goblin. I think it might be my favorite out of them all. He doesn't return until Volume 9, and I think after that he returns in Volume 19, and then the death of Ultimate Spider-Man. I think those are his next appearances. And then there's the Miles Morales 616 Peter Parker, if I'm remembering it right, crossover story he was in after that. And that was Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 4 Legacy. Of course, the title is Legacy with, you know, fathers and sons and what he has to leave in the world, especially when it comes to his Oz formula, the legacy of that. Maybe even you can see the legacy of the Super Soldier Serum and how bad it had to be to, or what badness can come from it, turning into the Goblin. And Norman Osborn is really crazy in here. I don't really like that part of him. I definitely prefer Green Goblin in a suit. And instead of pumpkin bombs in this universe, he can throw fireballs. I might have already said that in my Volume 1 review. And I don't really like how he's just, you know, bat crud crazy in this. Even at his crazy in the 616 universe, Norman still had his mind, and he was still rational, but here he's just a mindless monster. I don't really like, it's almost like that. I don't like how they turn him into that, so I have critiques on Ultimate Green Goblin, but the story and how it fits and works, definitely really good. Here is what the chapters are called. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.